What's up, Ozarks? It's Chris Pitson here inside your Ozarks First Digital Desk studio. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday and your Friday night and weekend are going to be even better. Well, look, in just 6 days, it is officially that time of the year. The Tournament of Champions, the 41st annual Bass Pro Tournament of Champions tips off right here in Springfield like it has for the last 40 years. And as usual, it's going to be awesome. You're going to have some of the best high school boys basketball talent in the country in our own backyard right here in Springfield at Great Southern Bank Arena. And this tournament field is bar none the best it has ever been. I'm talking five teams in this competition are ranked inside the top 8 nationally. That's right. 5 teams are ranked all within the top 8 in the country, including the number 1 team in the land. That would be Paul VI out of Chantilly, Virginia. So let's talk about this entire tournament, because as we know, it is the biggest and best tournament in all of boys basketball in the country, bar none. And every coach pretty much that's come here, that's competed, that's got plenty of experiences through the tournament with outside the court stuff, on the court stuff, atmosphere, game, fans, crowd, energy. No doubt about it. This is the best tournament in all the land for boys high school basketball. Now, this tournament will tip off next Thursday, January the 15th. 4 o'clock is the very first game. But the second game and the third game of the tournament is going to be exactly what you really want to tune in for. Because at 4 p.m., that's when you get Paul VI, the number 1 team in the land right now, 3-time tournament champion, most notably as of 2024. They are going to play the Logan Rogersville Wildcats, led by Chase Branham, who is committed to play at Indiana University in 2027. He, along with the Moore twins, they're going to have their hands full with some of the best talent in the country, including Jordan Smith of Paul VI, who is, in fact, the number 2 player in the land in all recruiting for this year's crop of kids in 2026. And then the next game right after that, well, that's where things are going to get pretty tough, because at 7:30 that night, that's going to feature Kickapoo against a Missouri school, or a regional school that is always in here. That's Principia. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch them go toe-to-toe as well. But in any case, both our local schools will be underdogs, as they have been for the last 19, 20 years, okay? So we'll get to that in a second. However, let's hear from Springfield Public School Athletic Director Josh Scott on exactly what he thinks about this field, how potent it is, and how much fun this will be for all the fans in attendance for this incredible tournament.
Well, I think one of the things that's most exciting about this event is we have 2 blue chip 5-star seniors who are uncommitted. We know these kids are going to play high Division I basketball next year. We know they're likely going to be in the NBA next year. They're in several years down the road, and they're going to be here in Springfield. One of the things that I think is probably a hidden gem, with 8 teams in the top, or 5 teams in the top 8 in the country, they're all going to be vying to be in that end of the year national championship. And the way to do that is to win this tournament. So I expect amazing games all 3 days. And our locals with Kickapoo and Logan Rogersville, Coach McHenry, Coach Schaefer, we could not have 2 better men representing Southwest Missouri and their teams than Logan Rog and Kickapoo.
So there you have it. I mean, we're talking the number 1 team in the country in Paul VI. The number 2 team in the country, right here from Missouri, okay, Principia. They got to play against Kickapoo. All right, let's hear, though, from the experience that this tournament has for the kids, has for the teams, why it's highly regarded for the on-court and off-court experience by so many coaches that come to this event.
You look around at the teams that we're bringing in, you can't find better teams, better players, or a better atmosphere. So not only is it an amazing experience for Kickapoo and Logan Rogersville, it's an awesome experience for Springfield. I mean, look at everything that we have to offer around, from Branson all the way to Springfield. We have the number 1 aquatic center in the world. We're going to bring all of our teams through WOW. We're going to take them out to big shots. We're going to go out and look at Convoy of Hope with a national headquarters. So the experiences that we're going to provide teams to come into Springfield, the experiences of Coach Schaefer and Coach McHenry as they're in district tournaments trying to win district championships or quarterfinal games, I can guarantee you nobody that they're going to play in Missouri is going to be moving as fast or at the level that these teams that we're bringing in.
But let's talk about that experience, okay? Me being a sports-loving person that I am, having grown up playing sports, talking sports, playing sports video games, and, of course, covering sports for a living, I'm a very competitive person, okay? And I love to win, and I hate to lose. And I understand the experience of this event for our local teams is awesome, because it is, because they're not getting invited to national tournaments like this unless they live here, which we do. However, excuse me. However, one thing bothers me. It hasn't been since Kickapoo was in the championship game in 2005 that a legitimate Ozarks-based team has actually made some noise in this tournament. It's been now 21 years, or going on 21 years, since a local Ozarks team, a Springfield team, has been able to really compete with these powers from around the country. That's a tough thing to swallow, man. Again, I get it. This is about prestige. It's about showing off Springfield, about the Ozarks. It's about being a part of playing in something you wouldn't normally get to, which does mean that you need a little bit of gratitude, and I get that. However, I do believe that if you're Coach Mitch McHenry of Kickapoo, if you're John Schaefer of Logan Rogersville, or if you're anybody from Glendale or Republic or wherever it is that you get to play, come on, man. You ain't here just to dance, right? You're here to impress. You're here to show off what you got too. And you're also here to show, hey, we're not just showing up to get our butts kicked and say, thanks for coming, guys. We hope you enjoy the experience. I say that as respectfully as possible because, I did reach out to Joshua Scott today, who you just heard from. He is the athletic director for SPF. And I said, I wish there was a way that we could get these teams a little more competitive. Would there be a possibility that maybe we could combine forces, that we could make a super team? Is there a chance that in the future there could be a Springfield super team to face the rest of these powerhouses from around the country at the Bass Pro Tournament of Champions? Because to me, that would settle the score, or at least create a little more even playing field when you're talking about playing private schools from around the country that have that luxury. But it's never going to happen. And the answer is because this is a Misha-sponsored event, okay? This is something that is put on by Misha. He said it would not be legal. The TOC is sanctioned by Misha, and the NFHS cannot have an all-star team and be allowed. Which I get. I understand there are rules and guidelines for a reason. And believe me, I'm not some super team fan, okay? I'm not a fan of LeBron James joining up with various teams to try to win a championship. Never been a fan of Kevin Durant doing it, whoever else it is. Not a fan at all. But I do wish that we could do that. Because for Springfield fans that show up to this event, it is about passion. It is about pride. It is about having so much invested in your community that says, yeah, we're putting this on. That's what made this tournament great was you had teams that could show up here in the area and compete against these teams like the 05 Kickapoo team and others that played against to-be or would-be professional players, or like Alonzo Mourning showing up. And all these various guys, all 60-plus guys that are on this giant two-tier list that have walked through the doors of Hammonds, that have walked through the doors of GSB. And to me, it would mean so much if there was a way that Springfield schools could combine forces. They can't. It's not legal. But I know for a fact many people that come to watch this event from the Ozarks, Springfield area, boy, would that put a smile on their face, okay? But let's hear from John Schaefer, head coach of the Logan Rogersville Wildcats, who get the fortune of playing the number one team in the country, Paul VI, in their opening round contest at 6 p.m. next Thursday, January 15th.
I've said a lot. I like being the underdog. It's a lot more fun and easy sometimes, but and we're not the underdog by any means in our area this year. So this is a good opportunity to be it and embrace that a little bit. And I think our guys will, and they'll want to prove themselves as well. So it's going to be memories these guys have the rest of their lives.
There you go. Logan Rogersville, not an underdog in this area, right? In the Ozarks, these guys know exactly what they're doing. They know how to do it well, and they're playing well, and they're going to be a real threat come the district, regional, and tournament come March. But you hear them. You got to embrace the role. You got to try to control your attitude, your effort. They're going to show up. They're going to try to use that underdog role, house money basically, as fuel for fire and motivation. And we hope that it works out well. But it's tough. I mean, again, Chase Brandon's ranked number 33 in the country for the class of 2027. He's going to go up against Jordan Smith, the number 2 ranked player in all the country who plays for Paul VI. I mean, again, it's just not a fair fight. And I wish there was more that could be done for these schools like Rogersville and Kickapoo and Glendale and Central and Parkview and anybody else that plays in this tournament locally, because we only have the crop of kids we got on each school. And if you're a private school, heck, even look at Link Academy. Link Academy has some of the best talent in the country year in and year out. That's why the last two times, the first 2 times they've ever played the tournament, they won it back-to-back times. It's not a fair fight when you can recruit players in your school and we can't do it here. Again, I'm not trying to be a thorn in somebody's side or raise a stink at SPS. I love Josh Scott. He's a great dude, does a heck of a job, really good dude. But it's just hard, man. As a competitor, I want to see our teams, Ozarks teams, Springfield's teams, put up more of a fight than looking at them like Team Lithuania against Team USA, the Dream Team, in 1992. You feel me? Okay, here's Coach Mitch McHenry for Kickapoo on also the daunting task of playing against Principia. Even though they're from Missouri, they're the number 2 ranked team in the entire country.
We try to set up our schedule where we were going to get challenged early in the year. Obviously, nothing reflects or can simulate what we're going to go against next week. But just the fact that we've went out of the area and we've played really good teams and trying to do as much as you can. And then, what we want to do as a local team is we want community support by the way we play and the way we compete. When we're going to go into a tournament and not be the most talented team, not be the biggest team, you still got to show up when you're not the best and compete and give yourselves a chance, and I think our kids will do that.
That was probably the most polite way of saying we are beyond outclassed. I love Coach McHenry. He's an honest guy. He's straight up. And that's why he said what he said. It's like, you're going to show up. You're going to simulate everything you can. But when you're playing talent that's up here and you are here, what are you supposed to do? It's such an unfair fight to play these teams. Again, I know it's all about experience and enjoying the process and being a part of this tournament and being grateful for being in it. I completely get that. I'm not fighting that. But, they're putting on a brave face for their community, for our community, for their school, for their team. But the real conversation, the writing on the wall is you're going to show up and play teams that have better caliber athletes, better caliber coaches. Some of them might get to recruit because they have that great talent. And that's a big difference. So, again, I say this with all respect. It just comes from a place of being a competitor myself and taking pride in living and working here in the Ozarks, in Springfield, covering these kids, sharing their stories, watching them compete, and being able to watch them go against the best players with all their might, but just disappointed that there's nothing that we can do here on a legal level to kind of even the playing field. Just my 2 cents. I love the tournament. I can't wait for it. It's so much fun to watch because, again, we're going to see future NBA players every night, and they're going to play like the kids that you expect these guys and these calibers to be. But I just wish that there was a way that Springfield schools could have a little bit more of an advantage than just a, quote, home court advantage. Because it hasn't been on our side for a very long time, and the future doesn't look any brighter about it. But hey, 41st TOC, Thursday, January 15th through Saturday, January 17th. Going to be a blast. Can't wait to be a part of it and cover it. But either way, stick right here for a lot more updates coming your way. Of course, this is the spring. Basketball season's in full swing, so between the Bears athletics, Drury, and of course all the high school stuff, we'll have a lot more updates for you along the way.